Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's JB with the CWV podcast. Happy Thursday. No Thursday night live tonight. We are usually live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. Due to some personal reasons, we won't be able to tonight, but I just wanted to give my brief thoughts on Lanterns episode 2, just to share it with you guys. So yeah, we're 2 episodes in to Lanterns, and really, you know, so far as Mark had so kindly, our other co-host Mark had so kindly put it, just wait. Everyone just needs to wait for this show to release and to be proven wrong on how good it's going to be. And again, so far so good. 2 episodes in. Spoiler warnings, of course. We already get Sinestro, and next episode I'm sure we're gonna get a incredible conversation between Hal Jordan and Sinestro. My one thing is I wish sometime in the DCU in the future, and this is not to say that it can't happen, right? But I was really hoping we eventually would have some form of Prime Hal Jordan versus Prime Sinestro. But it's all good if they don't do that. It really is all good. I'm sure we're going to feel the gravitas. We're going to feel the rivalry between them just in these conversations between an experienced Hal Jordan and an experienced Sinestro, which once again, we've been mentioning it with Kyle Chandler's Hal Jordan. Just incredible. I don't know. Again, it's only been 2 episodes, but I don't, and you know, we've been mentioning Parallax, and it could be leading to something along those lines. As of this moment, I don't quite see it just yet. But again, a lot can change within the next, we have 6 episodes left. A lot can change, right? But I think from what we've been presented so far in these first 2 episodes, I see more of, you know, what Sheriff Kelly had said in the first episode, right, where, you know, he's not, you know, he's lonely, right? He's a lonely guy. So it definitely could lead into that, but right, I think he is just more sad and lonely than anything else. And it does seem like the 2 of them are building up some form of a relationship, right? The way that he flirts with her, he heard like, oh, like, you know, you having marriage problems, you're not too crazy on your husband, like, what's good with that? Even when he interrupts the town meeting and she's like, honey, and he's like, he responds yes, right, while sitting next to her husband. So tad bit disrespectful there from Hal Jordan, but what's homeboy gonna say to a Green Lantern, you know? So I think there's definitely something there. There's definitely chemistry there, right? And again, just the way that Hal uses his humor here and his demeanor, yes, it does feel like a guy that's been through a lot, but I don't think enough to really, for his will to get to the point of him becoming Parallax. But again, 6 episodes, so let's see what happens there, right? But just speaking a little bit more on Hal, and just the way that this episode, and I think in our Discord, and you guys are more than welcome if you're new to the channel to join our Discord, CWV podcast. Welcome to the channel as a whole. But I think something that I think Chewy had mentioned, one of our Discord members, where he didn't really get the true detective vibes, right, or detective vibes just yet from episode 1, and I think we get that a little bit more here in episode 2 with, you know, and the way Hal goes about things is not discreet whatsoever, right? Like taking these dead bodies from the alien bodies from the morgue and having them pass through the quote unquote, wasn't a metal detector, right? It was an alien detector. But again, him just kind of investigating a little bit more. And I love that scene where she presses him about it. It's like, yo, what are you doing? Mind you, he had the aliens like seat belt up. He had them seated belt up. And again, adds to his charm, adds to his humor. But I love that conversation where she's like, yo, you're catching up to me. Like, you're doing all these things. Yeah. You're telling me all these things. I already knew that. So you're playing catch up here, buddy. And which leads to him being like, hey, can I go press your father-in-law? And this is something that I think the show has, and this episode in particular, did so well. Usually you get shows that, somebody, a character figures out a piece of information and then they hold on to that shit, right? And we only get it, 3, 4, 5, or leading into the finale, whatever it is when we get the reveal of it all. But rather here, he immediately goes to press William Macon, right? And mind you, by this point in time, he has the powers of the ring are depleted, right? So he has he doesn't have the power of the ring right now, and which kind of goes to show you the fearlessness, right? The like his will is strong. Like, are you afraid? No, because he rolls up in there and he's like, look, now you guys are trying to kick me out, and that's not finna happen. Like, I'm finna stick around because I think there's more going on here and going on with you, right? Like he shows his cards, right? He's like, yo, I think there's some bullshit going on here, and I'm gonna get to the bottom of it. And even without the power of the ring, the guy's like, yo, you step another foot in here, I'm gonna shoot you. He steps another foot in there, he gets shot. So I think it goes to show how it's just like, yo, even without the ring, even without the power, it goes to show Hal's character of just not being afraid and be like, yo, I'm going to figure this shit out. The hospital scene where there's nobody else in the hospital. So which leads us to start, questions, a lot of questions here. And I saw something on Twitter that showed that Sheriff Kennedy twice in both these episodes, episode 1 and episode 2, we get a shot of her just through reflections. Not always, obviously. I literally mean one shot in episode 1 and one shot in episode 2. We get a shot through a reflection of her. Now, because obviously now we're getting to the point of learning more about the Manhunters, and this is what it seems to be leading up to, right? Like they're going after, there's one Manhunter left, and we'll get to John stuff in a little bit. But I don't think the sheriff is a Manhunter. I wouldn't be surprised if she is, and how they spin that. William, maybe, but a lot of people are suggesting that he is Black Hand because his name is William. But it could also just be that the whole town is just this town here of is it Rushville? I'm gonna say that it is, but I could be incorrect. But it could be that the whole town is filled with Manhunters. And I think that would be really interesting. if that is the case. But I do think the sheriff knows a little more than she's giving to us, the audience. I do think obviously William and his family and everything he's got going on know a little bit more as well. And then transitioning now to Jon Stewart. One, speaking on his construct, right? The bird, which I think in now episode 3, I usually normally don't like to look at the trailers because like, okay, it's gonna be presented to us on Sunday, so very excited to watch it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna see anything from the trailer, but there was a few still photos that came out, and it looked like on the cake. When he was younger, there was a bird. So looks like that bird might have a bigger meaning, but he kept that construct without the ring and also held it for it was pretty much 2 days, right? So kind of crazy, and it shows his willpower is pretty strong. And actually I lied. I did get a glimpse of next week. And I do love what John says when one of the Guardians asks him like, do you know why I'm sure you're asking yourself, why you? He's like, why me? Like, nah, like I know why me. So this next episode I think is going to be incredible. But yeah, in terms of that, just showing his willpower, it does seem like, Hal's obviously very impressed with that as well. And again, they still have that dynamic of fuck you. I'm going to throw a whole thing of water in your face, right? An ice bucket water in your face to wake you up. But again, what I will say, I thought because he gets kidnapped, the leader, right? Antan, I believe was how his name was pronounced. A lot of people are thinking that's Atrocitus, and the actor, I don't have his name with me at the moment, but whenever he shows up in a show, I saw a tweet about that as well. It's like, shit's about to go down and the shit's gonna be good. But for real, so they kidnap him after John goes to Hal's crib, and Hal has this freaking mansion, but he tells them like, hey, I love how he's doing all this stuff with the dead bodies, being on the phone with John while John, is in his crib and feeds his plant. But I do really, I like that we do get that moment of John being in there, and again, there's no furniture in the house. There's nothing, right? It was just gifted to him because Hal had saved somebody. And then I love that moment he has with going into the pocket dimension, first and foremost. And again, what the DCU has it feels like it's been leaning into a lot with Peacemaker, with Superman, now with Lanterns, the whole pocket dimension stuff. So I think that's really cool and building up to something, especially with Man of Tomorrow coming up. And we also did get, spoiler warnings, we did get a clip. I don't know where this clip had come from, but of Guy Gardner visiting Jon Stewart. And I'm not, again, it's a quick clip, but John looks like he might have got arrested. So not entirely sure, because it could be spoiling stuff for what's coming in the show and for Man of Tomorrow as well. So I'm not going to even bother to look more into that or how this even got released, but it seems like an HD version that was released. But either way, I do love that, him grabbing the lantern, him looking at the suits, like kind of seeing how he himself would look with the suit on and everything. And I do have a couple of our members on Discord that asked a couple questions that I'll get to as well regarding that. So I thought that was a really cool moment, especially because it's something that it seems like John has been trained for this moment his entire life, right? So again, so he gets kidnapped, and I wish we got to see what Anton and the rest of them had showed him, right? I wish we really had got to see. And then he breaks down the whole man, like, do you know what a manhunter is, this and that. So we get that revelation already. And again, I love that John, when he approaches Hal about it, because they do say, right, Anton does say, like, I don't trust Hal. Like, I'm going to you about this, and you have 48 hours to detect the manhunter here. So I love that, because John, I thought they were going to go the route where John kind of keeps that a secret, and he doesn't tell Hal about what happened. But when he gets back, he tells Hal everything that happened. I'm like, oh, interesting, cool. So again, builds a little bit more trust amongst them. And if I'm not, the title of the episode, Trust Fall. So there was a lot of trust falls here, a lot of like, okay, like, what am I going to tell you? What am I not going to tell you? What am I keeping from you? So I thought that was really cool that John ends up telling him. And again, I'm sure we're going to get really cool that we're going to get way more on his backstory in this next episode. And again, because I think a question a lot of us are like asking is, because again, we can't trust the Guardians. Definitely not, right? There's clearly been something that happened, and I think it has to do with Sinestro. And do you guys think, because when Hal woke up in the hospital, and she's like, what's the deal with Sinestro? Because again, what do we know? We don't know what she knows. You know what I mean? Like, she could be bullshitting, right? That he was muttering that in his sleep. It could very well be the case. Again, they have so much history, but she could be BSing in that aspect. So we don't know. But I think, again, he flies, which presumably he goes to Oa, right? Or they didn't confirm whether that was or not, but really cool to see that, right? Him take off, him wearing the suit. Again, he's been very, even when he says the oath, when recharging the ring, which charges up fairly quick, by the way, like that shit is just like, that's it. I'll say the oath, 100%, great. I saw a tweet that was just like, yo, he said the oath like how I say the prayer before Thanksgiving dinner. Like, yo, I'm trying to eat. Like, we're going to say this prayer real quick and move on about our day. He said that shit real quick, moved on about his day, hesitant to wear the suit. So clearly a huge disconnect with him and the Guardians, And I'm sure there is. I'm sure there's a lot of bullshit that the Guardians have withheld, and that's why, again, he hasn't backed up his consciousness in over 10 years. So let's see everything that goes on with that. Anything else here? Oh, right. So again, we get Sinestro already. I know, again, I know few nitpicks that I've seen people have. Sinestro's look, a few nitpicks about the suits, yada yada yada. Which again, maybe to an extent I can agree there, but it's nowhere near enough to take me out of the show and be like, yo, this looks ass, or this doesn't look, well made. You know what I mean? And with all that being said, I think when we get John's first suit up, I think John's suit is gonna look immaculate. And I'm gonna just go over here real quick in our Discord, because I had asked, again, I said I'm doing a quick little video on Lanterns episode 2, and I wanted to hear what people had to say. I wanted people to ask some questions, and one of them, yes, so from our boy C Baby Enzyme in the Membrane, a question for the video I have is, do you think that John will be the first Green Lantern to make his suit from the ring? And again, I think there's a lot, at least at what we got from this episode, there are things that can back that up. Again, his bird, that he kept around for a long time, even without the ring. So it is something that maybe he himself could just manifest his own suit from it. And one, I think the suit is going to look dope. And yes, I do think that would be the case. So to touch up on a few more questions, our buddy Noah, who could be Manhunters? Will Martians show up? So so I know that, and anyone could correct me here if I'm wrong. I don't think there's any form of correlation between, obviously, the Manhunters we're speaking on here, which were the first kind of Green Lantern Corps that the Guardians had made, but obviously they went a little overboard with their policing, and they were like we gotta cancel this shit. And obviously the Martian Manhunters, but who knows if maybe they find a way to tie that together, but I don't think so. I think they'll keep it two separate things. Could these guys who kidnapped John be Red Lanterns or other other aliens? Yes, absolutely. Again, we're thinking that Anton, right? We're thinking that he's Atrocitus. That's what people are suggesting. Like, yo, he's got to be Atrocitus, right? Perhaps. John already being so strong, and Sinestro knowing about him. Yes. Sinestro being like, the Manhunter's your second biggest threat, he says to Hal, right? And he's like, how is John Stewart? Implying that's your biggest threat. So that is pretty cool as well. Let's see. We got our boy Chewie here. Is the whole town full of Manhunters? That's what I think. That's what, all based off these 2 episodes so far, that's what I'm thinking. Just from all the little clues of again, nothing really happening. This hospital was empty. It was empty. Like that's so strange. And again, he questions that, right? He's like, what the fuck is going on here? Was John's dad, I like this, by the way, was John's dad originally chosen but showed fear? So John is the prodigy. I love that. I love that, actually, because it's something where, right, he had that opportunity. His dad, I believe his dad is also a fighter pilot, right? Or I think that's confirmed, right? So maybe could have been in the same position as Hal, but right, showed fear one way or another, and I think we'll get that in the backstory. So now he's training John, and John is like, no, like I won't disappoint. Like there's no fear in me, bro. Why is a Guardian visiting John's family when he was a baby? Again, like having the Guardians be the ones to pick and choose. Like, yes, like you in the future will be a Green Lantern, right? It's like, like what's the deal with all that? Was Abin-Sur escorting the Manhunter or Atrocitus to Earth to hide him, and why? And I think we'll get that. I think we're gonna get that. Like I don't see a situation where they don't explain or actually show what was going on there and how it all happened, because this is what caused everything that's going on now, right? So I think we're gonna get that. Let me see if there's any more questions. I think that's what everyone pretty much had to say, and I appreciate our Discord members for the questions there. Hope I answered them to the best of my abilities. And let me see if there's anything that I missed from the actual episode that I would love to discuss. Again, I wish when they were showing John, right, what the Manhunters did, like they committed genocide to, you know, their whole race. I kind of wish we had saw that, and maybe we will see you know, what John had saw. I don't think it was necessarily needed. That's the route I thought it was going to go in. But yeah, I'm very excited. You guys can let me know in the comments how you feel about the episode, how you feel about the series so far. What do you think we're gonna get in episode 3 with John's backstory? And yeah, again, apologies that we couldn't be live. We are usually live Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, and I'm really hoping that next week we will be here to discuss episode 3. We love you guys so much. We appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, we will hopefully see you guys next week.